Hi, you guys, and welcome to our Tuesday motivation. Today is Tuesday, if you had not guessed
Yes,
and had figured out. It is the 29th and coming upon the last days of the month of August. This month has flown by really quickly, and pretty much we are here to do your morning inspiration as always. But really, it's afternoon inspiration now. And pretty much our topic for the day is do better, get better, or get better, do better. I forget how we put it in the order.
I think it was do better, get better.
But I'm going to let Linwood explain what we're talking about today.
Okay, so when we say do better, get better, we're talking about a number of different things. And of course, it's something where, like last week, we talked about pursuing your passion. We've talked about business. We've talked about your personal life. We discussed a lot of different things, but sometimes it doesn't really all tie in with exactly how you get better. We talk about how you can have better, but not necessarily what it takes to get there. So today's video, we want to really cover what it takes to get there, and there are a number of different things that you can do to get better, but it's going to require some effort on your part.
So a bit of sacrifice.
Yes, a bit of sacrifice, sometimes a lot of bit of sacrifice. So I will say it's one thing where when Joseph and I were thinking about how to brand our business, we talked about tailored style, and we kept on trying to figure out how is it that we're going to go about marketing this? What are we going to do to make us stand out and make us different? And we kept on trying to resist the fact that it was two guys in this area doing hair, and we were like, you know what, that's so gimmicky. We hated the idea of it. But the more we looked at it, the more we're like, that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us individualized in a city where there's a hairstylist on every corner. I mean, there's 3 other salons right in our same vicinity. So what makes us stand out? What makes us unique? We had to put ourselves into the business, and we had to go ahead and accept that, as cheesy as it may have seemed, as cliche as it may have seemed.
We're 2 male hairdressers.
Yeah, we're 2 male hairdressers in the same building in a city that doesn't really have many male hairdressers.
And it's already something where it's a lot more intriguing for women to already go to a male hairdresser. A lot of times, most women feel like if they're going to another woman, a lot of times you get that cattiness. Sometimes women feel like the person doesn't want them to look as good as they look, so they feel like they purposefully jack up their hair. I mean, I've heard so many stories from other women where they just feel more comfortable in a male presence. And to me, it's what kind of sets us apart in a way. I mean, I feel like the people that come to us, we have a lot of clients that come to us because they believe, quote unquote, superstitions that men grow your hair versus what other people are able to do with your hair. So there's a plethora of reasons. And as much as we wanted to kind of shy away from that, it ended up being one of our strongest advertisements is that we are both guys. I think also even in our YouTube channel and every other endeavor that we have made, that has been the biggest thing that pretty much people, I guess, are attracted to and like about us is, you know, just our dynamic with one another, our friendship, the way we are.
The fact that we're comfortable in our own skin, you know, we're not trying to be someone else. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, especially when you're dealing with business and trying to put yourself out there in a positive light. It comes down to how are you presenting yourself and why are you presenting yourself in that manner. And so many times we see people where it's like you start a YouTube channel, you start a Facebook page, you start a business, and you're so busy trying to be like someone else who's already successful. And the thing is, people, if they wanted to watch that someone, they would be. That's why they're so successful. But if you want them to watch you, to like you, to love you, you have to first give them you.
And be authentic to yourself, which I think is something that we have both done, mostly just because I feel like that's who we are in general. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
We are just very authentic people to ourselves. Even I was telling him the other day, our latest YouTube video is more of like a vlog. I call it our reality show, which we're going to have one day. I bet it. But it's pretty much just about our everyday lives, just about us. And I was like, I think it's going to be interesting to see how many people actually watch that because, you know, I mean, that's us. And if you find this interesting, then that's what you like. And it's really doing really well right now. It's probably one of our best videos so far. And to me, it's interesting because it's like people automatically want to do better. They want progression and self-improvement, but ultimately don't realize that it starts with being yourself. If you can't accept who you are as a person, then you cannot ultimately get better. And I think to tie in with what we're talking about today is it's about getting better, setting goals for yourself and wanting to be the better you or the best you that you can possibly be. And to be in any form of business, entrepreneurship, even just being a human being, we should strive to do better. If something's healthy, I always say it will grow, it will flourish, it will change. And like many things in life, it goes through metamorphosis, and what it was at one point, it doesn't become that again because it evolves. And that's what we're meant to do as humans, as people. You hear people say, oh, you changed, or you different. And that's life. People are going to change, they're going to be different, and hopefully for the better ways. And that's why we said do better, get better, is because we want you to be better for your change and not bad for your change. Because some people change and it's not a positive change.
It's very difficult to get better if you're not. We are praying for you in Houston, dear. Thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
It's very difficult to get better, to get in a better state if you're not first in a better state of mind, if you're not first at a better point of awareness. And it's just something where you have to stop and understand, what is it that you're doing this for? If you're doing this for you, you're going to put you into it. And sometimes that means acknowledging your own shortcomings, being willing to improve upon those. And there are so many different resources for you to be able to do that. You could pick up a good book and be able to give it a read and see, okay, how can I implement these steps? You can go ahead and watch a video on YouTube if you're not big into reading, and be able to see how you can improve yourself that way, especially if you're aspiring towards being a better hairstylist. There's tons of tutorials out there for you to follow.
Free education.
Yes. If you wanted to be a blogger, there are tons of tutorials on how to not only write a blog, but on how to monetize your blog so you can be making money off of it, how to reach more people with your blog. So I mean, if it's something that you're interested in, I always say, if you don't have the passion to pursue, do you really have the passion to do? And when it comes down to it, it's like, the best way for me to put it, I pursued my wife for 8 years. And we weren't even dating. Like, this is just me saying, like, you know what, we're gonna be married someday. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know what it's gonna come to, but somehow this is going to happen. And that wasn't just me sitting back believing it. That was me saying, okay, you know what, I'm not just gonna speak this into existence. I'm not just going to do something, but if it's her birthday, I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna go ahead and befriend her. I'm gonna write her back and forth. I'm gonna be that solid person to where whenever whenever everything begins to crumble, here I am, you're consistent, you're a person that you can fall back on. And it was something where over time, she saw that consistency, that care over time is what stood out when everyone else was willing to leave, when everyone else looked at it like, you know what, well, we're done, so this is over. There I was. And it's something that paid off to my benefit. So I will tell you that pursuit is not always the way that people think that it is, but it does mean that you're constantly moving in a direction that leads you to where you want to go. So if you know that you want to be a great nail tech, maybe you should start off by watching some nail videos or taking care of your own nails, making sure they look like something. And then from there saying, okay, well, if I can't afford the schooling now, let me start saving up.
Yeah.
How do I get into it? Maybe I should look into some scholarship programs and find out what's going to help you get better in the meantime. And it does require some legwork on your part.
It does require effort, it requires dedication, it requires sacrifice, and I think it requires a lot more sacrifice than people think that it requires. I think people look back at other people that have paved the roads and done better for themselves than what they ultimately started out as and say, oh, it was easy for them, or they had this avenue, they had this resource, and it's not always the case. Hey, Marcy, it's not always the case that people had, you know, things just handed to them. They had to work, and a lot of times, like you said, it's a sacrifice, and sometimes your pursuit of being better, being a better person, does not always mean that everybody will understand why you're trying to be better, or they'll understand why you're doing it. And that leads us to another big point in doing better and being better, is you gotta have a plan. You can't just, you know, go out here and just like, well, whatever comes my way, because then literally whatever comes your way is what you'll be dealing with. If you're a person where it's like, okay, I want to be successful, I want to do this, then like he said, you should be looking up this stuff and you should have a strategic plan. Now, yes, like we talked about in previous videos, plan but adjust. But at the same token, if you don't have any type of guideline of where you're trying to go, of what you want to become, or how you want to be better, then it's very hard for the law of attraction or whatever you believe in to work for you and bring it to you. Because ultimately, I believe that's what it is. I truly believe in speaking things into existence. And if you can't know what you want, then it's just like a child, you know, when they're up there whining. It's like, if you don't use your words, I can't help you. I don't know what you want. And so if you're just, it's pretty much like a whining child, you know, you're just like, I just want to be something, I want to be successful, I just want to be this, I just want to be that. And it's like, but you're not giving any clear definition as to what you want to be. Most people who are extremely successful, they have had a plan, they know exactly down to the T, and they can say, I'm at this point I want to do this, and at this point I want to do that. And then when we get to this road, if this happens, then I want to do that. It's important to do that, even though we can't judge how life is going to happen and we can't predict how things are going to go. It is very important that you make those efforts to have a plan. You can't be better if you don't know where you are currently. It's one of those things where you have to kind of accept where you are, know yourself, and be like, okay, well, this is how I need to get better, because you can't get better if you don't even know where you are. You know, so many people, they walk through life aimlessly, blindly, doing the same thing day in and day out, and they don't even know anymore. It's formality. So to start to do better, to be better, you first of all have to create that plan. You have to know what you want out of life. To the best of your ability, get down a pen and paper and say, what do I really want? You have to ask yourself those questions. What do I really want? What do I really want to have? What do I really want to see? How do I want to live? A lot of times we're going off of things that, our parents taught us, or we saw family members and how they were, and we take those and we adopt those as our own, but really those aren't your own beliefs. Those are just how you were raised. And when you become an adult, one of the key things to becoming an adult is deciding, okay, do I really believe this? Do I really want to live my life by this standard? Yeah, all my life my mother taught me this, but is that something I agree with? Or do I think that was her agreement? Was that her understanding? But is that not my understanding? There's so much to life, and just doing better doesn't just relate to doing business. It relates to you being a human being and being a productive human being and being the best person that you can be for yourself, because it's so important.
Yeah, and I will say when it comes down to it, to be able to do all this, you have to be passionate about it. And one of the key things here is not just saying, I'm pursuing my passion, but you first have to identify what that passion even is. And you would be amazed at the amount of people that I see that are always applauding me for being an individual and being comfortable in my own skin. And it amazes me to see the amount of people that are still doing as adults what I was doing in middle school, which is basically living to please other people. If everyone else liked it, then I like it too. If all of my friends find this interesting, then I should watch it. I find it interesting. And it's amazing to me the amount of adults that I see that are not really forming their own frame of thought. They're not really putting the pieces together and deciding, you know what, it's okay for me not to like that, even if everybody else likes it. That's what makes you unique. And the people who care about you, the people who want to be around you, will still be around you regardless of whether or not you believe the exact same things they do, because they're willing to accept the fact that you are an original. You are not meant to be just like them. Thank you for joining us, Sharon. You are meant to be yourself. And so many of us are trying to be who we see on TV, who surrounds us, the latest trends, what we're seeing on these commercials. Social media is greatly shaping what we're seeing. And it's difficult because we've got so many people now with body image issues, because you can open up Instagram and you see these people who are bodybuilders. They make it look so easy.
Sure.
And then you don't realize that, you know what, they put in a ton of work because that's what they were passionate about. Let's be real. I'm not passionate about bodybuilding. That's why I'm anorexic looking now. I'm not trying to be in the gym being a bodybuilder. Would I love to have the muscles? Yes. But I'm not putting in the work. Why? Because that's not my passion. I'm a good hairstylist. Why? Because I've been passionate about that enough to practice consistently for the past 17 plus years. This is hard work, and it's something that I was able to pursue and able to be successful at because I was willing to put in the work when I was working 3 jobs and going to school at the same time, just to be able to do this. This wasn't something that was just like, you know what, well, I want to do it, and it all just fell in my lap. It required not only hard work, but consistent hard work, where I was willing to go ahead and sacrifice what I wanted to get to what I really wanted. It isn't even about want plus need. This is our want versus need. This is about me saying, okay, you know what do I want more? Do I want to hang out with my friends, or do I want to be successful in my industry? If I want to be successful in my industry, sometimes that means I'm going to have to put my friends on a back burner this time so I can invest back into myself and be successful. And that way, when I do take time off, I can afford it.
Exactly. And so those are pretty much our things that we wanted to talk to you guys about today. Do better, be better, get better, live better, and ultimately be happy with who you are as a person, what your life has become. But you can't do those steps until you start to identify these things, identify your passion, identify who you are, be okay with who you are, love who you are, embrace who you are, because ultimately, who's going to be you if you're trying to be everybody else? As cliche as that sounds, who is going to do it?
It's the truth. There's a reason why it's cliche.
So we want to thank you guys for tuning in to our Tuesday motivation. Was there anything else you wanted to add, sir?
No, I mean, like Socrates said, know thyself. It's one of these most simple but most
powerful,
in-depth and deep quotes that I can think of, because there's so much power behind it.
Yeah.
So I will say, if you found this helpful, please share it out with a friend.
Please do.
Tag a friend, show us some love on the post, and let us know what you think in the comment section down below.
Exactly, and like the one person we already had on there, we're praying for Houston, everybody affected by Hurricane Harvey. Where we live currently, it's kind of far away from where it happened on the coast, so we're all good here if anyone's wondering, but we are very saddened by the tragedy that's happened. We have clients that is personally affected, and so our hearts go out, and we're
affected. All the family members that have been affected.
Yes.
So please do not think that Tailored Style is not thinking of you guys. we are praying for not just you, but we're praying for all those that have been affected by it, all those family members that have been affected by it, and our hearts hurt, our hearts go out to you.
Yes.
And I don't even know what else to say with that. I mean, it's devastating.
Yeah.
And we pray that things continue to get better. We pray that your spirit has not been diminished and that you understand that you can pull yourself up from this and continue to move forward.
Yes. And anybody who's helping to make a difference, we appreciate you guys. You're awesome. You're amazing. And you don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to have $1 million. You don't have to be anybody special to help people. So all the good Samaritans out there doing stuff, we applaud you and keep doing it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope that you guys have a marvelous week. We hope it gets better. We hope you do better. We hope you live better. Mostly because you are better. Not better than anybody, but you're the best version of you that you can be. And enjoy your Tuesday, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.